two recent weird vegan wedding things, snafus, that I want to talk about. So I'll start with this one. This is the easier one, I guess, at least in terms of the response. I think virtually everyone had the same reaction. These are both from Reddit, AITA, of course. My husband and I had a vegan wedding because we are both vegan. We made it clear in advance that the food and cake would be plant-based, and no one complained until the reception. The cake was gorgeous, 3 tiers decorated with edible flowers. Toward the end of the night, one of my husband's aunts, Linda, came up to me looking visibly upset. She said it was disrespectful to have a vegan cake on display because it felt like I was pushing my lifestyle on everyone. I told her the cake wasn't meant to make a statement, it was just the dessert we chose for our wedding. She insisted I either move the cake off the main table or add a sign saying it was vegan so people weren't tricked into eating it. And then the OP says, like, this was my wedding, it's cake, it's not propaganda. That would be a great title for a vegan cake recipe book. It's cake, not propaganda. Nobody cared but Linda. She ended up storming out, and now OP's in-laws are saying that she should have compromised with Linda to avoid drama. My husband thinks I could have just put up a sign to keep the peace. Like I said, I think this one is pretty obvious, especially since she told everyone in advance that it was going to be plant-based. The food and the cake would be plant-based, so presumably everything they had before the cake was vegan, so like no meat or anything. It's really weird that the aunt would choose to complain when it comes to the cake. It's still sugar and oil, like who cares? But the main thing is, number one, it's their wedding. It's not the aunt's wedding. And number two, people eat vegan stuff all the time without knowing it's vegan. There's so much vegan junk food out there, trust me. I know this. There's like vegetable side dishes that people eat, you know, broccoli roasted with olive oil and spices. That's vegan. Do you have to put a card or something saying that's vegan? I suppose you could argue that while people expect a cake to have like milk and egg in it, but unless they have an allergy to like typical vegan replacements, right? Like there might be coconut or cashew in it. Maybe they have an allergy to soy or something, but otherwise, what is the issue? And there's no mention of allergies in this post, so it was just the pushing their lifestyle on everyone. So as I said, pretty like expected response. I think virtually everyone is in agreement here. Not the asshole. The whole thing was vegan. It was your wedding, your choice. I wouldn't feel tricked by eating a vegan cake at all. She has some issues. Let her seethe and be upset. You don't owe her anything. Putting up a sign would have rewarded her bad entitled behavior. You have no reason to do it. They told everyone the wedding was going to be vegan. How stupid does she have to be surprised that the cake was vegan? Again, that's the weird part to me, is that there was presumably food before the cake. Like, what was that food? You would think someone like this Linda would have complained about that. Of all the things to complain about, the cake? Maybe they just had some really amazing like meat replacements and she just couldn't tell. Couldn't tell it was vegan. What's even the difference between a vegan cake and non-vegan cake? Substitutions for eggs and dairy? Yeah, pretty much. It's not like you snuck Linda a grilled leaf patty dressed up as a sirloin steak or whatever she thinks vegan food is like. It's just a few changed ingredients. There's hardly even a difference. Again, the only thing that would make sense would be allergies. And even still, I don't think, not to speak for everyone with allergies, but I don't think people with allergies typically expect there to be like signs, particularly at a wedding. Most people put the onus on themselves, right? To ask, like, is there gluten in the cake, whatever. I mean, either way, like a vegan cake is probably going to be, I don't know. So you're replacing milk and egg, right? Which are two of the top common allergies, but there's a good chance the milk is now soy milk. Soy is also a top allergen. There could be some almond in there, cashew, that's not as common as milk and eggs. They're probably both going to have wheat. Yeah, I don't know. I think the vegan cake would probably be less allergenic, but not by much. Maybe if you use like a rice milk. As far as the compromising just to keep the peace, that depends on what people want. But me personally, I would like never forgive myself for rewarding that type of behavior, and essentially telling that person that what she did is okay. Disrespectful to have a vegan cake on display. It's just insane. I hope this was just a bad day for her or something. I hope this is not, I don't know. It's hard not to think like, oh, she's one of those people. So this one is more contentious. People are split. I'm not. I just had my wedding last weekend. My husband and I have been vegan for 3 years, and we decided to have an all-vegan reception dinner. We spent months working with an amazing chef to create a gourmet 5-course meal that just happened to be vegan. Think mushroom Wellington, truffle risotto, roasted vegetable tarts, etc. We spent nearly $15,000 on the food alone. We deliberately didn't mention the food was vegan on the invitations because we wanted people to enjoy it without prejudice. Every dish was designed to be delicious and satisfying regardless of dietary preference. The ceremony was beautiful, but during the reception, I noticed my brother Tom wasn't at his table. 20 minutes later, I watched in horror as he and my cousins walked in carrying 20 large pizzas. They started distributing them to the guests, announcing real food for anyone who wants it. I was mortified. The caterers looked so embarrassed, and several guests hadn't even tried our carefully planned menu yet. When I confronted Tom, he said my aunt had texted him that all the food is just vegetables, and they couldn't let people go hungry at a wedding. The pizza completely upstaged our expensive gourmet meal. People were taking photos and treating it like a joke. My mother-in-law posted on Facebook about how her son's wedding was saved by pizza because the bride tried to force everyone to eat rabbit food. I ended up crying in the bathroom, and my husband asked Tom and the cousins to leave. This caused a scene, and now half the family is calling us stuck up and saying we ruined our own wedding by pushing our beliefs on everyone. They're saying we should have warned people about the vegan menu. Now that I'm rereading this, I'm hoping this is fake, right? Don't people do that? Like rage bait shit, just create fake. Am I the assholes? Wait, are people using ChatGPT to create rage bait? This person put in ChatGPT to make rage bait on vegans and weddings, and it gave almost this exact post that it was a vegan menu and the brother ordered pizzas. Honestly, if that's all AI is used for, it might be for the best. That and those dark fantasy reimaginings on TikTok. Have you seen that account? It's like my favorite thing ever. I don't know. This one just seems so crazy, but there are people who are dicks. Like, we know this, so I don't know. I'm going to treat it as real because the responses, I think, are obviously real and they're very interesting. Be honest, you didn't tell anyone about the menu because you knew they wouldn't like it or come if you did. This doesn't make you an asshole, but people could have eaten beforehand if they knew the menus weren't to their liking. So I would argue the reason if this is real, the reason she didn't alert her family is because her family are those people, the type of people who would act like 2-year-olds and order other food because they don't like one meal. I mean, that's insane. But they're still her family and she wants them to be there for the reception. And she knew if she told them, maybe they would come, but they would complain about the food the whole time because they knew it was vegan. And maybe if they just tried it, they would actually like it. If they didn't know it was vegan, like, yeah, I could understand not saying anything. Now, I'm vegan and I would be very unhappy with that gourmet meal. It all sounds disgusting. I hate mushrooms, truffles. Like, it's all, anytime I've seen any sort of gourmet vegan stuff, it's like trash. Well, trash to me. It's like mostly vegetables. Give me vegan pizza. I don't even like vegan pizza and I'd rather eat vegan pizza. Listen, I'm a vegan, but this is classic self-righteous noob vegan bullshit that you tried to pull. I wouldn't eat most of that rancid shit you served. When you're catering to a crowd, you actually have to cater to them. You don't treat it like some kind of gastronomic lecture. It was a dick move of your brother to do that, but I am not surprised at all. I'll just point out that it sounds like people were pretty fucking delighted to see the pizza. Am I wrong? I live a plant-based lifestyle and hate mushrooms, truffles, etc. Love all other veggies, and I would have hated that menu. Sure, but again, like with the first one I talked about, it's their wedding. I can't imagine feeling so entitled, even if I weren't vegan and they wanted to talk about veganism and have, like placards talking about the benefits of vegan, like whatever. It's their wedding. Why would you be offended by that? You just nod and go, okay, and you eat the food, and then after you talk to your friends and the rest of your family, like, that was fucking weird. Weirdest wedding I've ever been to. And also, if you know people are like anti-vegan, making them a bunch of vegetable meals is like, I don't know, not the way to go. And also, who spends $15,000 on food? Like, that can't be real. Why would it cost that much? I mean, I guess if you're working with some overpaid chef for months, I guess. But I do want to talk about one more. This is not a wedding. This is a Thanksgiving post. And this one does seem real. There are lots of responses from the OP in the comments replying to people. And this one I think is actually kind of nuanced. Not real. I don't know. I and my brother Mark do not get along. When he was a teen, he saw a documentary on factory farming and decided to become a vegetarian. He got very, very annoying about it quickly, but my dad shut him down when he started trying to get the rest of us to be vegetarian with him. Then he went to college, made a bunch of very strange friends, and went militantly vegan. It's his entire personality. I stopped talking to him after he threw a fit about one of my birthday dinners being at a steakhouse and spammed my messages and SM with pictures of abused cows. SM. Social media. I got it. So he starts dating Pam, who apparently is a vegan influencer, moderately popular online. I'm assuming Pam is not her real name. So the year prior for Thanksgiving, he insisted that their mother cook at least a vegetarian meal or they wouldn't come on ethical grounds. So I assume that's everything is vegetarian, not just like one thing that's vegetarian. My mom just wanted everyone to get along on her favorite holiday, so she agreed. It was not a fun meal. Anyway, for this year, the OP, the sister, is hosting Thanksgiving at her house because the mom is not doing well. I told everyone in the group chat so Mark and Pam could make travel arrangements, and Pam immediately started gushing about all the vegan replacement recipes she could give me to replace the traditional ones. I said to send me a main dish recipe they like and I would give it a shot, but I'm making the traditional meal otherwise, and there should still be plenty of things they can eat. Mark and Pam have been arguing about this with me for days, and then Mark said that if I wouldn't make a meat-free meal, they wouldn't come. This upset my mom, who asked me to just make what she made last year to keep the peace, but I told her that Mark needs to get over himself, and I'm not coddling him. I'm having turkey on Thanksgiving. My dad privately agrees with me, but Mark threatening to not come is upsetting my mom so much that he's worried it will impact her health. There's a not big, but also not zero chance that these might be some of the last family holidays we have with her. My mom thinks I'm putting turkey over my own family, and I'm not so sure anymore. And she adds a bunch of stuff saying, like, as she said, she offered to have a main dish and sides that were vegan that they could eat. If any meat is served to anyone, they won't come. I think people said, well, why can't they host, Mark and Pam? Well, apparently they live in a van, although it would admittedly be interesting to watch them try to host a family Thanksgiving out of a van. Okay, Dad finally hit critical mass and told Mark that if he didn't get his ass here on Thanksgiving to support Mom unconditionally and without a single complaint or argument the entire time, he was disowning and disinheriting him, and the next time he needed money or help, he could forget it. So Mark is theoretically coming, Pam is not. Dad has already ordered the turkey. The recipes Pam sent are ridiculously complicated, so I worked out a deal with one of the nurses at work who is vegan, and she's going to make a couple of her favorite dishes ahead that I can bake day of or for Mark. Oh, that is so nice. That's how vegans are, most of us. So of course everyone's saying, you're not the asshole, it's your home, you know, they should just be happy with having options for them, not being able to eat everything. Everyone else should be allowed to eat what they want to eat, even if it's meat. A lot of people saying you shouldn't have to cater to their dietary choice, right? And for me, that's where the nuance comes in. Like, clearly this is not a dietary choice for Mark and for Pam. She even says they won't come on ethical grounds, right? So this is about the animals. And I can understand not wanting to go to a Thanksgiving meal that has meat because it's upsetting. Like, I don't want to do that either. And quite frankly, if I were still in Memphis and I was invited to something like that, I wouldn't go. It just would not be worth it for me personally. But I also would not demand my family make everything vegan or even vegetarian. Not because what they're doing is okay. Like, it is wrong to eat animals. Obviously, eating turkey is terrible, but we don't live in a vegan world, and most people don't think it's terrible. And they see what we do, even if we tell them otherwise, they still see what we do as, you know, just a dietary choice or like an emotional choice. And they're able to view it that way because eating animals is so normalized. They have the luxury of looking at us and scoffing and continuing to eat their turkey. No one's going to call them out for doing so, right? Except for vegans, which just makes you the asshole, right? It makes Mark the asshole. I believe one day we will live in a world where people would be disgusted by the thought of having turkey on Thanksgiving, if we even still celebrate Thanksgiving, but we're nowhere close to there yet. So when people act like this, it's bad for them personally, right? They end up losing family members and friends. And it's bad, I think, for the movement on the whole to showcase veganism like that. I'm not saying we lie and say, well, we're just plant-based for health and you do you. If people ask, I think it's good to be honest, you know, in as neutral and nice a way as possible about why you don't eat animals or animal products, but also recognizing that it's just so easy for people to turn away and to justify and to view what we do as just weird. Again, this person says that she's had issues with Mark for a long time. He sounds like maybe not a great person to be around. I wonder if he were more affable and sensitive and nice, if they would be more accommodating. I would hope if he came to her and said, I really want to be there with you guys, but the thought of being around turkey, around dead animals, it's just so upsetting to me. I just don't think I can do it. I would hope that she and other people would at least seriously consider not having meat. I know that's a lot to ask, and I don't think many people would do that, right? Because turkey, you gotta have turkey. But at least maybe set up a separate thing so that Mark could spend time with family without having to be around meat. But I think that's hard for people to accept, because if you accept and believe us when we say seeing dead animals is that upsetting, you kind of have to accept that, like, it is upsetting, that maybe it should be upsetting to everyone. I guess you can still view us as emotional, but yeah, I think that's bleeding too far into we have like serious reasons for not eating animal products. It's not just a dietary choice. It's not just a fad. So yeah, I'm certainly not on Mark's side, but I feel for any vegan or vegetarian who wants to spend time with family, but doesn't want to be around dead animals. Like it sucks. And I wish omnivores, carnists would try to view it from our perspective. As far as our Thanksgiving, I guess I started this last year. I decided I wasn't going to do a big Thanksgiving meal with some sort of roast and stuffing and all the stuff, because like no one really likes it. I don't really like it. I've said before, my favorite Thanksgiving memory is watching Predator. I think it was Predator 2 actually, with my brother on Thanksgiving in the living room and eating like fried rice and dumplings, these dumplings my mom would make in the bamboo steamer. Like this is great. I never wanted turkey or any of that stuff. And even the vegan stuff, it's just like, So last year we did have something for dinner. I can't remember what it was, but the main focus was the cheese plate. I do just a really simple, delicious cheese plate. I make a big cheese ball, cashew cheese ball in advance. You can find the recipe online. It's a pretty old, I think, recipe, but it's delicious. It's one of the only like cheesy things that I actually like. And we have crackers and celery sticks and cucumber. I buy some, vegan like cheesy dips and grapes and strawberry, typical stuff that go on a cheese plate. And my 8-year-old's like already talking about it. They love the cheese plate. I should maybe do cheese plates more often, but it is nice to have it just once a year as a special thing. So anyway, we do the cheese plate for lunch, and then I make cookies, or I've already made the dough. I roll out the gingerbread cookies, and my kids get to frost them. And we've done that 2 years now. Everyone's like, what? Why do you do cookies on Thanksgiving? I don't know, because we do. That's the thing. And again, my kids are like excited about that and already talking about it. I think partner still wants me to get some kind of roast, but I don't even know if they're easy to find this year. We used to get the tofurkey, the ham one. I think that's the best one. Well, no, partner likes the Gardein. There's a Gardein one, and it's not so dense, right? Like the tofurkey ones. I have an old video trying all the holiday roasts. It's like, oh my God, I don't even know. Is it like 8 years old now? It's pretty old. I should do a new one of those. It's kind of late now, maybe next year. Before I go, there are some sales going on that I want to mention. Patreon, 25% off for all tiers, including the annual, the yearly. And that's for, I think, the next month. You should be able to just go to my Patreon, Unnatural Vegan, and the discount should already be there. You shouldn't have to put a code in or anything. So if you do the monthly, the discount is for the first month. If you do the yearly, it's for the whole year. Spring used to be Teespring. That's where I have my shirts and my mug and totes and stuff. They are having a site-wide sale. I think it's 25. No, maybe it's only 15% off. I can't remember, but that starts on the 29th. It's more of a like Black Friday thing. It's only a few days, which I don't love to do. I don't like to encourage that sort of like buy now, or you're going to miss out, So usually when I have some sort of sale, it's like a month or so. But yeah, that's a site-wide thing they're doing. So yeah, that's from, again, I think the 29th to the 2nd, December 2nd. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Please do like and subscribe. And of course, thank you to everyone who supports the channel, my members here on YouTube and my patrons at patreon.com/unnaturalvegan. I do post 2 exclusive videos a month for tier 2 members and patrons. The first one is a vlog, and then the second one is a controversial topic. That's it for me. Thanks again, guys. New video soon.